What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I recently had a trip to Central Florida to ride in Ocala on the Santos Paved trail. And there seems to be a growing trend with, number one, states building these trails, what they call rails to trails, and interconnected paths for cyclists to make cyclists more accessible to more people. What I wanted to do was I wanted to talk about, from a road cyclist perspective, a person who likes to get out on the road and do group riding, pace lining vigorously. What was my impression of this trail for that kind of riding? My experience with cycling trails is kind of limited to the Silver Comet Trail in Georgia, which is phenomenal. It comes from Atlanta to Alabama. It's a great workout. When I lived in Georgia, I would go there 2 or maybe 3 times a month just to be able to get some good tempo riding in and something that was relatively flat. So I'm going to do a lot of comparison between those two trails, because for me, the Silver Comet Trail is kind of like the holy grail of rails to trails. Okay, so first thing about this adventure was I was able to meet my friend Mark Lowe from the Bianchi Club on Facebook, and that's why we have the Pinella in here today. Hi, Mark. Say hi to the Pinella. The first comparison that I'll make is that the Silver Comet Trail is straighter and flatter than the Santos Trail. In my last ride on the Silver Comet Trail, which is about 31 miles, I got maybe about 500 feet of elevation gain. On this visit to Santos, riding the trail is 50 miles out, 15 miles back. I got about 900 feet of elevation gain, so just about double the elevation gain. That's the first thing. The second thing is the Santos Trail isn't just hillier than the Silver Comet Trail. It's also a lot twistier, and it's also narrower, which for safety reasons, they have posted an indicated maximum speed limit of 20 miles an hour, which for that trail, I happen to think it's appropriate. I wouldn't use the Santos Trail as a place for me to say, you know, this is my speed day where I'm going to go out and I'm going to, you know, ring out and get a KOM or something like that. Because for me, the trail is way too narrow, it's way too twisty, and the hills might mitigate you being able to get any significant speed. Now, it's not long sustained climbs, it's more like short punchy climbs. Every once in a while you'll hit one. Also, there are a few places where the trail changes directions, where you kind of like will go down a little hill and you'll have like a sharp right towards the right, and then you go under an expressway through a tunnel. And every time you get to one of those spots, it's very narrow. So you've got to be very mindful of that. There wasn't a lot of traffic out there as far as I was concerned. It was a Saturday late morning, and I've seen way more people walking, jogging, pushing strollers, or even doing casual bike riding on the Silver Comet Trail than what I saw on the Santos Trail. So again, in that regard, it was a little bit different. The other neat thing about the Santos Trail is, I mean, it's beautiful. You're riding through the middle of nowhere, basically, through, I believe, what is a state park. There's a lot of Spanish moss hanging down from the trees as you go through the trail. It's stunning scenery, really. You're able to come across some of the intersections of the different mountain bike trails, being the expert, intermediate, or beginner. It's kind of neat to see that. And every once in a while, we came across people who are horseback riding. There's a part of the trail that runs adjacent to one of the pathways that I believe people take when they're horseback riding. And incidentally, Santos being in Ocala, for those of you who don't know, Ocala is the thoroughbred capital of the nation, which is just you have these beautiful sprawling estates where riding through Ocala, the last time I was there, it was awesome to see people just exercising these beautiful thoroughbred creatures. My understanding is that in the future, they're planning to connect the Santos Trail to the Withlacoochee Trail. Say that fast 3 times. And I believe the Withlacoochee Trail runs about 30 something or 40 something miles each way. So it's going to be a pretty good trail. Now, if I were to make a recommendation as a road cyclist, the best usage for the Santos Trail for me would be like I'd get out there on recovery day and just spin my legs easy is the way how I would use it. Or if I just wanted to go for a casual ride with my wife and the kids, and we just kind of wanted to tool around a little bit for about 5 or 10 miles, That's the kind of stuff that I would use the Santos Trail for as it is right now. Or you just want a nice, easy ride. But I wouldn't ride the Santos Trail in a pace line simply because of how narrow it is and how twisty it is. You really can't see around the other person. And there's also the, you got to be a good citizen. You got to be able to share the trail responsibly with other people who may be using it for different purposes. But outside of that, it's a beautiful place, and I definitely recommend if you have an opportunity to ride your bike in the area, aside from riding on a road in Ocala, I highly recommend you taking a spin on the Santos Paved Trail. Okay guys, thanks again for tuning in. Again, our aim here is to inform, instruct, inspire. Please be blessed.